Hello, everybody. So today's video is called The Secret Genie. Now, there's a diagram that was created by a chiropractor named Thurman Fleet 90 years ago in 1934. Before getting into the diagram, I just want to repeat something that was said by a man named Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, "We become what we think about all day long." So you're quite capable of changing the direction of your life, no matter what age you are. 4.5 years ago, somebody told me that, and I only kind of halfway believed it at the time. But I can tell you today he was right. At the time, I was living in a little 8 by 10-foot room in Chinatown. Next door to me was a family of three. On the other side was a mother and her 35-year-old son, and across from them was a senior couple. In all, there were 24 people living on the first floor of that building. All of us shared two bathrooms and a kitchen. If someone sneezed in the room two doors away, I could hear it. Towards the end of 2019, I remember having a conversation with a man named Arash Vasugi, and he told me all I needed was a little direction. And in retrospect, he was right about that. But first, I needed to bring some order to my mind. And this little image I'm going to share with you in a minute helped me tremendously with that. But what exactly is the mind? A lot of people would say the mind is that thing between our ears, but I found out the mind is in every cell of our body. So let's do a little experiment with the mind. I want you to go back in your mind and think about when you were going to your first day of school. What were you wearing? How were you feeling? Now, when I was in kindergarten, we had nap time, and each of us brought a little blanket with us. Mine was blue. What color was yours? There was a little area where we kept those blankets, and there was a name tag that said where my blanket went, and that name tag said Paul on it. What did your name tag say? What about when we got a little bit older and we got other nicknames? And some of those nicknames weren't very nice. But think about a time when you were a little bit older and you're out there on the ball field with a bat and you hit the ball out of the park and everyone called you Babe Ruth. Or how about when you were taking a test in high school and you're the kid that got the bad grade and you were called a dummy? Did that become your new name? What if you never finished high school and everyone called you a dropout? Or if you graduated from college and everyone called you a scholar? Now, when I was 17, I dropped out of high school and I joined the Air Force, and the drill sergeant called me Airman. Was that my new name? These things we call ourselves and the names people called us really shaped our lives. But in reality, none of these names were necessarily who we were, but they had a lot to do with who we became. Isn't that interesting? What color was your first car? Did it have four doors or two? So now I want you to do this. I want you to go into your kitchen in your mind and tell me what color your refrigerator is. Does it have one door or two doors? Do the doors open from left to right or from right to left? Now I just had you go into your kitchen, right? Now here's the interesting thing. I could tell you what color my blanket was when I was in kindergarten, and I could tell you the names people called me when I was in high school, good and bad. Or I could tell you the color of my first car. But if somebody were to ask you what the mind is, most people couldn't really say exactly what that is at all. And yet, if we're to change our mind, isn't it necessary for us to know what it is? Remember what Ralph Waldo Emerson said. He said, "We become what we think about all day long." So it follows that if we're called a dropout, or if we were called a scholar, a superstar, or a loser, if we get that into our mind, that's what we become, right? We think in pictures, but most people don't have a picture of the mind. And this single definition is going to change your life forever. And that's a fact. So let me share with you a picture of your mind. Once you understand this picture, you're going to be able to change your mind, and therefore you're going to be able to change your results in your life. Now, this is the most important thing I've ever learned. 90 years ago, in 1934, Thurman Fleet created an illustration called the stick person. Picture the large circle as the mind and the small circle as the body. The mind is the puppeteer, and the body is the puppet. Now let's take a moment to think about the performance of some people you know. Now you can include yourself in this too. Our behavior determines our results. Some people are shy wallflowers around strangers, while others are like human golden retrievers, bounding up with a handshake and a million questions. Despite the variety in behavior, our human nature is the same. The mind works the same way for the shy introvert as it does for the outgoing social butterfly. The difference is in how each mind is programmed. Now, our programming happens both genetically and through our environment. This forms our paradigms, which I'll dive into in another video. But for now, let's focus on this drawing. Imagine splitting the large circle right down the middle. The top half is your conscious mind, and the bottom half is your subconscious mind. And of course, the small circle at the bottom represents the body. Think of your head as the mind and everything from the neck down as the body. Sure, the mind is in every cell of the body, but we need a simple picture to work with. So the top half of the drawing is the conscious thinking mind. The bottom half is the subconscious emotional mind, which is like the hidden puppet master pulling the strings. The way the emotional mind is programmed determines how the body acts. But how do ideas get into the emotional mind? Well, we put them there. There's a constant flow of power moving to and through us, giving us the ability to think. The problem is many people don't think. They just let their senses dictate their reality. Now you see those little lines sticking out of the conscious mind in the drawing? They represent our sensory factors: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. Now we've been conditioned to live through these senses, shaping our beliefs from an early age. Take report cards, for example. They tell us what kind of student we are, and we believe it. But a report card just shows where our mind was at for a few moments weeks ago. It says nothing about our potential, yet we buy into it and it shapes our self-image. As adults, we let our income and our bank account tell us how successful we are. But these are just report cards of our past, not indicators of our future, unless we let them be. Unfortunately, many of us do. Now, the stick person image represents everyone. By understanding how our mind works, we can change our outcomes dramatically. This realization transformed my life. 4.5 years ago, I was living in an 8 by 10 foot room, ready to curl up and give up. Now, here I am welcoming you to the fourth industrial revolution from my apartment in Chinatown, complete with my own bathroom and kitchen. It's amazing what a little paradigm shift can do. Now, I've become a recognized expert in technology and a community leader by visualizing what I wanted and letting the universe arrange itself accordingly. Despite some people in my past who still calls me names I won't repeat, I've reprogrammed my subconscious mind through repetition. I don't pay much attention to the negative images others might have of me. Instead, I paint my own picture of success. Now, this stickman image is a powerful tool. It shows the creative process. Power flows into your conscious mind where dreams are built, and you imprint these dreams onto your subconscious mind, and you get emotionally involved with them and watch your body's vibration change. This change in vibration alters your actions, and the universe responds, changing your conditions, circumstances, and results. Listen to this message repeatedly. When you're not feeling good, you'll know you're emotionally involved with the wrong idea. If your life isn't what you want it to be, ask yourself what you're getting emotionally involved with. This process makes your world what it is today. You can always tell what's happening inside by looking at your outside world. The fourth industrial revolution and the age of AI are upon us, bringing beautiful opportunities. And remember, mindset is key. We think in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. Live from the inside out and stop letting the outside control you. I can guide you. Come join us, and I look forward to seeing you on the calls. Talk with you soon.